The Darkcry. That name has a certain weight to it. To some it represents family, others it gives them great pride. To you it might just be some ridiculous name. Look, I'm going to be very brief. What I have here is a relic. I know, it looks like a generic crystal, but believe me, it can show you the past. What you see, you may not like. You may even shed a tear. But trust me, you need to see this. My name? I'm not going to say. Just grab my hand, and I'll give you a taste of the very first Darkcry. There it is, where it all began. The three families came here from another world, and colonized this one, eventually building the world you know. That tall tower there is called the Shining Sheen. It was constructed by the House of Light. I forgot how stunning the building was. It stands on the edge of the valley overlooking the cliff. Then in the centre, the great in-between, founded by the House of Balance. I know you never went there, but I can assure you it's a very welcoming place. Unlike the Sheen, the in-between went for width rather than height, stretching across the valley like a dividing wall between the two other houses. Finally, the Dark Keep. You can see it perched upon a cliff overlooking the great abyss. That is where the great Crimson Witch resided, and the man of ever decaying was born. The House Darkcry waged war against the other families, leaving only one victor. The Ballad of the Crimson Witches decided the fate of this world. I'm not supposed to help, I will admit that. Keeping track of time is what I'm supposed to do. But what I have foreseen, I cannot just watch anymore. I have grown too attached to this world. I do not want it to have that ending anymore. When you're done sightseeing, I want to take you to the year 33, where Canastra Darkcry turned 16, the day where all this conflict began. For now, I want to put together a group. I'm thinking of calling them the New Balance. What do you think? Has a ring to it, right? Do not fret. And I will return, and when I do, you will see the past. You would not fully understand otherwise, and it might make you doubt me. Why even show you this? Well, I just wanted to say hello, and show you the area where it all unfolds. Please do not move a muscle. We are in the past. Who knows what a disaster you might bring forth. Now then, it is time I paid your brother a visit. Chapter 1. Shadow of the Night. Ryder. Year 2010, March 31st, London City. Dark nights, dark days. A shadow propels across the city, unseen and unheard. Blazing across the rooftops, his hazel hair clashes through the mist. The young man wore an unbuttoned grey shirt, and a black-coated Kevlar vest tucked firmly underneath. Arriving at a building, he leans over the edge slowly. Stage lights reveal the face of this shadow. A scarf hides his face from nose to chin. It dangles in the wind behind him, as his turquoise eyes look down on the man on stage. Special Agent Wilson, the shadow muttered. Wilson skipped onto the stage. His luscious strawberry blonde hair dangled down to his shoulders. Fangirls screamed before him, "Wilson, we love you!" The crowd cheers with excitement. Wilson wore a trendy science shirt with skinny white jeans. So he is the one they sent to kill me, huh? The shadow pondered. Someone handed Wilson a microphone. "Please, dear crowd, you're all too kind," Wilson spoke softly, addressing the large crowd before him. "Is this a front? A way to arrive without my detection?" He scoffed. The shadow grabbed his rucksack from behind him. A sniper rifle barrel could be seen sticking out of the opening zipper. Zipping it open, he reaches for the rifle and takes aim at Wilson. "London, it's so great to be here," Wilson chuckled. "Is Virus really bringing in Americans? They no spine?" He grunted, steadying the rifle. "We all know London has its faults, like the pollution, crime, and this so-called shadow." He laughed down the mic. "However, I'm not scared of this shadow of the night. He can go kiss my sweet ass," Wilson cheered with the crowd. "It appears so. Interesting. He came all this way to mock me. If I took the shot now, it wouldn't be as effective." He laughed, tucking the gun away. "Besides, I want to see why he is so confident. I guess that's my weakness." He turned his back from the edge of the roof. "Anyway, enough of him. Let's rock!" he roared. "Oh, modern pop music. Awful." He snarled, throwing the bag over his shoulder. He jumped onto the metallic board. Magnets clamped on the metal in his boots. Silent jet streams blasted underneath the board, allowing him to propel swiftly through the air. He is named by the people, the Shadow of the Night, the one who leaves nothing but the bodies of those you held dear, dead on the floor. If only they knew his real name. Ryder Darkcry. Ryder glides swiftly through the heart of London, Canary Wharf, where all the buildings shine neon lights through the thick dusk. A purple neon sign spelled out Darkcry Industries. It was drilled into the side of a dark brick tower. Penton Hotel also had a pink neon sign. The Penton building consisted of two main parts, the hotel itself and the church tower overlooking London. One building is still under construction, Wirus Tower. Wirus, the global mercenary militia. They have a 99% capture rate. I wonder who got away, Ryder chuckled. Stonewood Tower, the last noteworthy building. Unlike the others that have been made from glass, you can see right through the building. Dust tends to make it difficult to see, however. You might need to get up close. Ryder perched himself upon the church tower. He looked down at the gigantic projector, informing the public of the news. Wilson, the pretty boy, unafraid of environmental issues, ensures us he will be coming to debut his new album, Born a Star, this Friday. Sadly, all tickets are sold out. Better luck next time, the newsman informed. In other news, Wirus have stated that this murderous shadow is high on their priority list. Wirus have been losing stock ever since the failed capture of this shadow. The newswoman reported, "We asked Benjamin Oak for a statement, in which he declined, saying, 'If I had any substantial evidence, I would have caught him already,'" the newsman added. Benjamin Oak. Perhaps I should pay him a visit one day, Ryder thought to himself. In other news, Citra Darklight claimed gold during the London Awards yesterday. She stole the entire show, grabbing awards such as Best Performance in a Play, Best Performance Drumming a Musical, and Best New Play titled The Ballad of the Two Witches, the newswoman stated. Ryder sighed. She is going to rub that in my face later. That concludes all major stories for the night, the newsman informed. I better get moving. He leaped from the ledge and into the depths of the night. 3 hours later, Ryder stood above an apartment complex, looking down at the swarm of Wirus soldiers bursting into the place. Ryder, I have a job for you, the shadow remembered, a conversation he had earlier that day. What happened? Ryder's voice echoed. Well, the lab had a breach. Someone stole a drive from us, and Father is furious, the man's voice echoed. Ryder leapt from the building and onto a guard. Pressuring all his weight, he cracked the victim's spine. The two smacked against the floor. Where? Ryder recalled asking. We believe somewhere along the River Thames, in an apartment complex. Ryder rushed to the side of the wall as a half a dozen Wirus soldiers came hustling by. Not a lot to go off, but consider it done, Max. Ryder bolted down the corridor as the sound of footsteps faded away. He sprinted round the corner. 2 Wirus guards stood before him. They trembled at the sight of him. Thank you, Ryder. You have no idea how relieved this makes me, Max exhaled. Ryder lunged for the blade strapped beside his belt and sliced the guard's throat. Bright red blood splattered across the beige wall. Max, maybe one day you could handle something like this, Ryder remembered saying. The other guard became pale and sweaty. He turned and sprinted for his life, calling out for help, but to no avail. Ryder's blade curved through the air and slashed right through him. Please, Ryder, do not joke about such things. I have a reputation to uphold, Max replied. He took the knife from the jittering corpse. It had become bloody from the killing. Without wiping it, he sheathed the blade back into his belt. He found the door the 2 men were guarding, and with one good kick, he slammed it off its hinges. The room was empty. What is this? Ryder wondered. Wheezing sounds came from the bathroom. An old man with a lab coat quivered in the corner of the room. A cold draft pressed against his skin. I bet he went out the window with a drive, didn't he? The cowering scientist nodded. Oh, and if you find that scientist, make sure to kill him, Max said to Ryder earlier that day. Oh my, you're their shadow, I beg you, spare me. Without hesitation, he pulled out the silenced pistol and shot him point blank in the chest. He proceeded to jump through the window and onto the fire escape where Wilson waited for him, smirking. Howdy, Mr. Shadow, Wilson grinned. Is this what you were after? Wilson pulled out a drive from his pocket and dangled it before him. Both locked their pistols at each other. You were aiming at me before on the roof, weren't you? Before we fight, why? Why didn't you take the shot? Wilson inquired. Your confidence is intriguing. I want to know if you're strong enough to beat me one-on-one, Ryder answered. If you manage to impress me, I might even answer more questions. To be honest, I do have one or two, Wilson admitted. Well then, all I have to do is beat you up, and you will talk. My boss is going to love this. Wilson giggled silently. Ryder nodded, dropping the gun. Ryder nodded, dropping his gun to the ground. I don't think that needs to be there. Well then, all I have to do is beat you up and you will talk. My boss is going to love this. Wilson giggled silently. Why haven't you called for backup? Ryder wondered. If I did that then, I couldn't claim... Oh wait, now that I think about it, the fact that he dropped his gun... I think I added that in there to explain Ryder didn't have his gun on him. Ryder lowered his gun. I think that'd sound better. Sorry, I didn't want to go off track while I was doing this, but... Ryder lowered his gun. I think Ryder lowered his gun just sounds better. Ryder lowered... I think I should just go with one. I think I should just go with Ryder lowered his gun. Ryder lowered his gun. Why haven't you called for backup? Ryder wondered. If I did, then I couldn't claim I alone captured you. When I eventually do kill you, Mr. Shadow, there will be a TV show in my honor. The Amazing Wilson, everyone's favorite rock star, slays the notorious Shadow of the Night. I'm going to make a mint of merchandising alone. He giggled. What makes you so confident? Ryder asked. Because I have been trained by elite virus agents, and I drink plenty of protein shakes, Wilson prattled. I heard you did boxing, Ryder added. Wilson pulled the trigger at Ryder. The bullet scraped his shoulder, causing blood to leak down from his arm. Ryder bolted forward, smacking the gun from his hand. It went flying off the balcony. Boxing? Sure, why not? Wilson cheered. Wilson charged up the fire escape, followed by Ryder. They made their way to the rooftop. Wilson shielded his face using his arms, waiting for Ryder to strike. Ryder swung, smacking the side of his waist. Remember, your body needs shielding as well, Ryder explained. Wilson lunged forward. Ryder ducked the blow and bolted him straight in the gut. Oh, Wilson cried. Falling to his knees, he clutched at his stomach. I don't think you do practice boxing. You missed and was wide open, Ryder mumbled. Wilson trembled back to his feet, regaining his composure. Lucky jab, he snarled. I'm not the lucky type, Ryder replied. Wilson circled him, waiting for an opening. Ryder pushed forward, launching himself at his defence. Wilson closed his eyes. The brutal impact sent shockwaves across his body. Wilson staggered back, his arms trembling. The strength, it's ridiculous, he gasped. You fight for glory. This is what makes you weak. Wilson, fighting is survival. Having to survive day in, day out is the only way to test your limits, Ryder explained. Wilson laughed. I am still going to win, Mr. Shadow. It is my destiny to be the greatest. That motivation will get you killed. You walked into this without even considering failure. Did Wirus feel sorry for you? Or was the money just that good? Ryder insulted. Tears ran down his cheek. Fuck you, man. I'm just getting started, he screamed. I too am just getting started. See, I want to break you down. I want to see you try to survive. This is the only way I can see you at 100%. Wilson bit his lip, curled his fist, and lunged right at him. The Shadow raced forward. Dodging Wilson's punch, he grabbed his head and bolted his knee into his face. His nose cracked as he fell to his knees. Wilson groaned. Why does my face hurts? Ryder looked down at him. Blood gushed from his nose and mouth. I might have given him brain damage. I only wanted to break your nose, he sighed. Wilson held his nose. Oh, you broke my nose. He tugged at it, causing him to scream in pain. There goes your front cover, Ryder pointed out. You ruined my beautiful face. Beautiful is a stretch, Ryder said softly. Wilson bolted off the building and onto a rooftop, grasping his nose. The part where he runs. I guess we're almost there, Ryder muttered. Wilson leapt from rooftop to rooftop. A shadow followed, bouncing through the thick air. Wilson turned his head, and he saw a shadow ready to pounce on his prey. Wilson tripped, stumbling onto the side of the rooftop. Tears began flowing down his bloody face. There was so much talk earlier. I was hoping for more of a fight, Ryder wept. You're like a dog. They think they're tough shit, and then they come face to face with a wolf. Wilson charged head first, grabbing Ryder. He pulled him down onto the roof. Using his weight, he holds him down and whacks him across the face repeatedly. After 3 good blows, Ryder twists his body, slamming him against the chimney. The chimney breaks apart. Shards fall onto his head, slashing at the skin. Ryder begins to clap before him. You actually landed not just 1, but 3 punches. Like you said, fight to survive. I did indeed, Ryder replied. Wilson threw a brick. It smacked Ryder in the face. Oh! Ah! Ryder scoffed. He proceeded to throw another, but Ryder stomped his leg with a boot, causing it to snap the leg bone. Wilson screamed horrifically. Well now, you won't be running any more, Ryder joked. He coughed pools of blood on the dusty bricks. I can't die here, he cried. I don't think you will, but you gave people hope. I can't have people thinking they can take me on. So what I need to do is make an example out of you. You need to be punished. So, left or right? Ryder asked. What? Wilson inquired. Ryder pulled out his bloody dagger. Right tends to be more dominant, but the left is the artistic side of the body. You're a singer, so I guess left it is. Ryder decided. He lays out Wilson's hand and then slashes it with full force, chopping it from the body. Blood came gushing out of his arm. You chopped my hand off! His bulging white eyes looked at the shadow. Can you play the guitar with one hand? I'm sure it's possible. He chuckled. Wilson slowly lifted his left arm. At the end was nothing but torn muscles and bent bone. Just kill me, he wept. It's really up to you now. The blood loss could kill you. You can't walk for help. And you're in an awkward location. I won't put money on your survival, Ryder informed, scratching the back of his head. Ah, that brick really hurt. Now then, that drive. Ryder searched his pocket and found a USB drive. I'm guessing this is the one Max wanted. He tucked it into his pocket. Wilson, if you think about it, I'm being kind. Not only have I not killed you, I have given you the glory of surviving. What did you say? The shadow of the night? There has to be some sort of glory in that, right? So good job, Wilson. He congratulated him by giving him a thumbs up. Fuck you, he whimpered. Wilson, if I see you again, I won't just take a hand, Ryder threatened. That is if you can survive this. And with that said, Ryder turned his back on him. Now then, where did I leave that board? Later that night, he sat on his board. The wind brushed past his hair and scarf, gliding in the night sky above the haze, polluting the city below. Ryder looked upon the clear sky. He inhaled the clean air. It had felt refreshing. The stars, the moon, and the horizon could be seen without any difficulty. Its light could be reaching, the twinkling of the stars and the reflection upon the moon. It truly is stunning. Will someone stop me, or will today keep repeating itself, he wondered. They will never see this view, unless they beat me, unless they beat us, he sighed. Max is probably losing hair over this drive. I better head back. He dived headfirst into the black clouds, allowing gravity to pull him down. He could see the entirety of London City in all its dark glory. Ryder landed upon Darkcry Tower. Helipad. He headed down the staircase leading inwards to the penthouse suite. Step by step he wandered down. His mind flashed back to when he first arrived. That is a very funny mouth. That is a very funny mouth. Those words torment him. Ryder slammed the open door into the main room. He tossed his bag and board to the side. Letting out a big sigh, he kicked off his boots and collapsed onto the leather couch. The penthouse looked eccentric, as the floor was made out of wood. The walls and furniture were a mixture of blacks and whites. Ryder, is that you? Max Darkcry leapt over the kitchen counter and scuttled beside him. Unlike his brother, he has jet black hair and wears a purple business suit with a black shirt underneath. Home might be a stretch. Ryder threw the drive into his face. Don't lose it this time. The drive fell into his palm. Max tapped him on the shoulder. Brother, you outdid yourself. Thank you. He sounded relieved and sat beside him. I really don't care, Ryder scoffed. What became of the trader? Max inquired. I shot him in the chest, he answered. Blood leaked from his arm and onto the leather couch. Ryder, you're injured, Max pointed. Oh yeah, Wilson shot me, Ryder recalled. Wait there, I'll go get the first aid kit, Max demanded as he rummaged through the kitchen cupboards. He found a red box with a white cross on it and poured a cup of water and placed it on the table in front of him. I brought you some ibuprofen. Max hands him some water and tablets. Ryder gave him a concerned look. It will help with the pain, Max explained. If you wanted to help numb my pain, you would have brought me some whiskey, Ryder grumbled. It is not wise to drink tablets with alcohol, Ryder, Max informed. Whatever you say, Max. Now turn around while I take these, he demanded. Max did as he told. The suspense is killing me, Ryder. What is this mystery you have under your scarf? Ryder pointed a gun to the back of his head. Peek and I'll blow your brains out. Ryder threatened, gulping the pills he gave him. Max kept looking away, waiting for Ryder to put his scarf back on. You can look at my shoulder now. Ryder put the gun away. Max helped him take off his bloody jacket. Luckily, just a graze, Max applied some ointment. Ryder closed his eyes, gritting his teeth. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Ryder hissed. Max smiled. I am indeed. He stitched the wound and addressed it. That was not so bad, right? Max chuckled. Whatever. So who shot you? You mentioned a Wilson? Max inquired. When tracking down the drive, I ran into Wilson. Yeah, that Wilson. He had been using his stealth to receive special training. However, he underestimated me, and well, that's the end of it. Ryder, you didn't. I love his music, Max fretted. I didn't kill him, I just... Ryder, you didn't. Wait, Ryder became silent. You did what? Max demanded to know. I chopped his hand off, Ryder explained. Max shifted his palm onto his face. I was going to see him this Friday, he warned. You still can if you get by the dozens of wireless guards. They will most likely keep him under heavy guard and question him if he's up to it, Ryder explained. Max sighed. Did you reveal anything? Nothing relevant. Now tell me what's so important about this drive. Someone lost a hand over this. You know, Ryder asked, putting his feet up. I believe it has some information on neuroscience. Recently, the doctor has been interested in cognitive science, so it could also be that, Max recalled. What? Ryder gasped. Brain science, the nervous system, basic information on how to manipulate the mind, Max made clear. So like what the doctor did with you? Ryder asked. No, my ability is psychokinesis. This is something else. Max pulled out the USB drive from his pocket. In this drive could be the code to mastering consciousness. Imagine an old man dying physically, but we repair a new body and swap their minds. This way we could unlock the key to immortality. Max giggled with excitement. Immortality, huh? Well, good luck with that. Max sighed. Well, I guess some people don't want to live forever. I have to go to the mansion and drop off the drive, he informed. Max said goodbye and made his way down the lift. Living forever. Sounds like a curse, Ryder muttered. Ryder got up and went to the kitchen. He pulled out a whiskey bottle from the cabinet. He was about to lower his scarf until the little girl below him used her right crimson eye and looked directly at him. The eye is more than just crimson. It has sparkling diamonds scattered across the iris. However, her left eye is brown, but more transparent than most. Brother, you're home, she shouted with delight. She brushed a book past her jet-black hair. Shouldn't you be in bed? Ryder inquired. Will you read me a bedtime story? I can't go to sleep without one. She held up a book and insisted she read it. I should have put he. Scarlet, go get Mother or Citra. You know I don't like to be disturbed while drinking, Ryder said anxiously. Why? She asked with a blank expression. Because I don't like showing people my jaw, Ryder answered. Why? Is it because your jaw is funny looking? She asked with a question. Yes, he replied. Why don't you like showing your mouth? The little girl continues to question. Go to bed, Ryder moaned. I want you to read me a bedtime story, she insisted. No, I'm tired, he yawned. She continued saying, Ryder, read me a bedtime story. He just ignored her, but she did not back down. She kept repeating the same message for 3 minutes. Ryder's blood burned. He could feel the tension within him as every word sent to his brain overloaded it. He pulled the bloody dagger from his belt and smashed it onto the side of the kitchen. See this blood? It comes from 3 different men, 2 in which I killed. Do I really look like I'm in the mood to tell a little girl a bedtime story? He grumbled. She took a second to think about it and replied, Yes. She replied, sliding the book over the table. I kill people, Scarlet. The bloody dagger dripped onto the table. And yet you're not scared one bit. Just please leave me alone, he begged, laying his head across the table. Citra Darkcry came waltzing in down the resident hall, with a big smile clipped across her face. "I'm home," she yelled. "I really couldn't tell," Ryder asked. Citra, like her sister, had dazzling black hair. It contrasted well with her white dress. "I just want to drink some fucking whiskey in peace," Ryder cursed. "Had to be just Ryder here on my big day," she wept. Citra has 3 golden trophies wrapped around her arm. I hear Citra. I hear Citra. No, I think I did that on purpose, yeah. "I hear Citra." Scarlet ran to her side and cheered. "Citra, my darling, they left you here with Ryder. How could they?" she gulped. Ryder paid no attention but stared deeply at the bottle of whiskey. She screamed, dropping the trophies onto the floor. "What's with the bloody knife, Ryder?" she asked slowly. "I just wanted to drink some whiskey alone," he mumbled. "Your arm, what happened, Ryder?" she demanded to know. "Fine, come take a seat," he scoffed, pouring her a glass. She placed the trophies down on the counter and sat beside him. "Who did you kill today, then? Or do I really want to know?" She sat beside him. She asked, taking a sip of the whiskey. Scarlet waited patiently beside the table as her 2 older siblings talked. "I killed 2 virus guards and a runaway scientist. Oh, and I mutilated Wilson," he explained in a cold tone. "Wait, Wilson? The Wilson?" Citra shrieked. "Yeah, a generic singer turned secret agent. Not a very original, is it?" he explained, plucking at a straw. "Mutilated, so you didn't kill him? Is that wise?" Citra asked. Ryder placed a straw in the whiskey bottle and threaded it through the gap in his scarf. He began slurping on the whiskey. "That's better. Wilson showed no fear of this shadow. I'm more effective if they fear me. A public figure like that is definitely going to send a message." Citra down this... Wait, what's that head? "I'm more effective." He's slurping the whiskey. "That's better. Wilson showed no fear. I'm more effective if they fear me. Public figure like that is definitely going to send a message." Citra down the entire glass of whiskey. "You scare me, Ryder. Sometimes it's a bad thing if you're too effective." Sipping down the... "Well, I have yet to see a repercussion from being too effective," he bickered, slurping down the whiskey. Why come here? Where were you raised? Where were you raised? Where were you raised? Who are you?" Citra demanded to know. Ryder muttered. "I'm your brother. I'm here to do the family bidding." "Isn't that enough?" Ryder answered. She sighed. Whatever. I'm tired. Make sure to clean that knife. Good night, brother." She yawned and made her way off into the bedrooms of the penthouse. "Finally, I can take this damn straw out and drink in peace." Ryder sounded relieved. He glanced to his side. "Oh, I forgot about you," he muttered as the pesky girl raised the book before him. "I said no," he sighed, taking a sip from the straw. "Ryder, read me a bedtime story," she begged. He took a deep breath and exhaled. "Fine, one damn story," he replied, flicking through the pages. She giggled with excitement, bouncing up and down ecstatically. Her anticipation to hear him follow the words written along the page grew with every turn of the page. Cinderella, Snow White, Little Red Riding Hood. What on earth are these? He flipped through the book over and saw fables written across the front of the book. "Read one," the little girl demanded. "Fine. 3 Little Pigs. Will this one please you?" Ryder grumbled. "Yes," she smiled brightly. There were 3 little pigs. Each little pig built a house. Wait, what? How? They're pigs. They don't have thumbs. How the fuck did they build these houses? Ryder objected. "They're pigs with thumbs," she explained. "Okay, right, I guess that explains it then." He shrugged and continued. "One built a house out of straw." Oh, this isn't going to end well. "The big bad wolf came, hungry for pig blood. Finally, someone to root for." That made Scarlet giggle. "The big bad wolf huffed and puffed and blew the house down. The little pig, now defenseless, got devoured by the big bad wolf." The end. That's it. The story's over. Ryder noticed she had fallen asleep on the chair beside him. He tossed the book aside and carried her off to bed. "Good night, Ryder," she muttered. Ryder flicked the lights off and nodded his head back. Good night. Next time, Chapter 2, Born to Burn.